Alright, and welcome back, guys. You have heavily requested this video. We're finally going ahead and updating our top 5 best weapons to use in zombies. The old list is pretty outdated. It's only a few months old, but since then the health cap has drastically changed. They've added new, really good weapons into the game. They've buffed and nerfed a ton of weapons, so this entire list is pretty much being reworked. I think there's one item from the original list that's making the cut from the new list, maybe a couple of them. We are going to make a few rules for this list to keep it interesting. One, no wonder weapons, because if we were going to make a top 5 list, obviously when you're going to higher rounds, the best weapons are the wonder weapons, and this would be a pretty boring list because it would go top 1, 2, 3, 4. It would just be a list of all of the wonder weapons in order. This list is going to be based around weapons you can spawn in with, stuff you can make a created class with, use on round 1, and not have to worry about doing an Easter egg or a box to get. Really trying to see the best created class weapon selections you can make. And another rule we're going to make is we're going to try not to use a lot of weapons from the same category, because right now, the way Cold War works, some weapon categories are just way better than others, and if we were going to do a true to life list right now, 4 out of 5 of the weapons on this list would be from the exact same category, and that'd be pretty boring. So we're going to choose the absolute best from like each category, kind of make weapons that play differently and have different use cases, and that's what our top 5 list is going to consist of. Now real quick, something else we are doing in the near future, maybe this week or the next, I'm going to make an updated version of this list, and I'm going to show you the absolute best weapon from each and every class. It's going to be kind of a mix-up version of this video. So what the video is going to consist of is I'm going to show you what the absolute best assault rifle is, the best SMG, the best TAC rifle, the best LMG, all the way down the list. We're going to list off the best weapon from each and every class. That way, if you're watching this video and you're like, well, dang, I really wanted to use, an SMG, and no SMGs were on this list, or I wanted to use, a rocket launcher for some reason, and he didn't list any rocket launchers. That video is going to have you covered that way if you're looking for that. So make sure to sub if you want to see something like that in the near future, but that's not what this video is about. Let's move into this video. And here we are for our number 5 pick. That is the M16. We're actually on round 55. All the kind of weapon testing we're going to do for this is going to be on the health cap, so you can see how these weapons perform on the max zombie health. Zombies don't gain any more health past this round, so even if you take this to round 100, it's going to kill zombies at the exact same speed. Surprisingly, the M16 was our number 1 pick in the last list, and here it is in the number 5 position on this list. A few things kind of enabled that to happen with the health cap, allowing some other weapons to one-shot kill now, and just some new weapons being introduced. The M16 is still a solid pick. It's no longer, in my opinion, the best pick in the game, but it's definitely got the range to it. If you're looking for a weapon for boss fights, especially for Outbreak, this weapon is one of my go-tos for Outbreak, just because the range it's able to push the damage out at for boss fights, stuff like that. A very strong contender for a lot of things. But when you get in kind of round-based zombie modes where the zombies are a little bit closer to you and you're not always killing zombies at a far distance, the M16 does drop off a little bit, and there are definitely weapons that I would prefer to have in the M16 for close range counters. But even still, picking the M16 is definitely not a bad pick. It did make it all the way on the top 5 here, and I highly recommend it. Now for the M16, these were the attachments I was running. For the optic, I was running the mill stop reflex. For the muzzle, I was running the flash guard. For the barrel, I was running the strike team, and this is the most important attachment for the M16. You definitely want to have this. This gives you plus 14% damage and the plus 9% fire rate. Out of all the barrels you can run, definitely make sure you're running the strike team. Then for the body, we have the Ember sighting point. For the underbarrel, we have the infiltrator grip. For the magazine, we have the bottom one. For the handle, I was running the speed tape. And for the stock, we are running the duster stock. Now next, coming in the number 4 slot is once again the pump action shotgun. This gun has had kind of a weird relationship with top 5 lists because sometimes it's the best. There's been times that it's not been on it, but once again, I'm putting this above the Gallo. Last season, I actually thought the Gallo was better because of the health cap. The Gallo does quite a bit more damage per second than the pump action shotgun, but now that the health cap's been lowered, the pump action shotgun can once again one-shot zombies in the head, and that is huge. The Gallo can't do that, so even though the Gallo is overall going to be doing more damage, I still think I'd rather have this pump action shotgun just for that one tap potential that you don't get with the Gallo. If you are fighting bosses and stuff like that, the Gallo is probably going to edge ahead because that's really when that DPS is going to matter. But for killing single zombies and just kind of on round-based modes, the Gallo is my go-to, and I know this is still the preferred weapon for going to high rounds. If you're going to high rounds in Outbreak, this is what everyone seems to be using, but if you're going for high rounds in round-based modes, I still think there are quite a few weapons that edge above this. But look at this. The fact that you can still, on health cap, one-tap zombies is what makes this shotgun, in my opinion, the best shotgun in the game and worthy of getting the number 4 slot on this list. Now for the pump action shotgun, these are the attachments I was running. Keep in mind, depending on what you're doing, the attachments are going to change for this weapon. For the muzzle, I was running the infantry choke. For the barrel, we had the task force. For the body, we had the ember sighting point. For the magazine, we had the bottom one, and for the stock, we had the duster pad. And now coming in for the number 3 slot, we have the Akimbo AMP63s, and I bet a lot of you thought I was going to put these high on the list. I really like these, but I think there's a few things that at this current state of time in the game, I'm going to put above these. The reason these rank higher than everything else on the list so far, including the M16 and the pump action shotgun, if you are able to hit your shots correctly, and that ammo box has no ammo in it. Hold on. And we're out of ammo. Don't get hit by the train. Why did I not buy ammo? All right, here we go. Please let me buy ammo. Well, this is definitely another bug. I am actually unable to buy ammo for my amps right now. I don't know what it is. I've gone to like every single ammo box in the game. None of them are allowing me to buy ammo. So let me, I guess, grind and get some ammo drops. All right, and now here we are on round 62. Finally fixed that weird ammo bug. Not exactly sure what was causing that, but yes, I am putting the AMPs above the M16 and the Howler. The main reason for that is if you're accurate and you can hit headshots, this weapon is just going to simply kill so much quicker than what the M16 can. It definitely does a lot more DPS. And overall, if you're going to high rounds, you definitely want to have the AMPs by your side over the M16. I do still recommend the M16 though. If you're starting off and you're not quite able to accurately hit headshots with akimbo pistols, you might want to stick, oh, and hear me training back into corner. You might want to stick with the M16 until you quite get it down, but if you are able to hit your shots, the AMPs are definitely the direction you want to go. They just absolutely dominate enemies. And unlike the other pistols, the other semi-auto and burst pistols, you don't really have to worry about that. Sometimes with the other burst pistols, it gets a little bit annoying continuously pulling down the triggers when going to high rounds. These, you don't got to worry about it. You're able to just look at the zombies, hold the trigger down, and just even on health cap. This is round 62 right now. Completely just dominating zombies. Cannot go wrong with this pick. Now, one quick thing to note about the Akimbo AMP63s is if I was making a strictly outbreak list, these would be a little bit lower down because the M16 is better at range. That doesn't really matter if you're playing round-based maps because any engagement you're doing on Mauer or Toten, Firebase or D Machina, any engagement you're doing on these maps, the AMPs are just going to be better than the M16. But for outbreak, you do get those really long engagements where it's nice to have an M16. And there's a lot of armored zombies on Outbreak. The pump action shotgun is just so good at taking care of armored zombies that if I'm playing Outbreak, I would prefer the pump action shotgun in that scenario. Whereas if we're playing round base, the amp's kind of the king in this category. And now here's my class setup for the AMPs. For the muzzle, we had the Flash Guard 9. For the barrel, I was running the Task Force. For the body, we were running the Ember Sighting Point. For the magazine, we were running the bottom one. And for the stock, we were running dual wield. All right, and here we go for the number 2 spot. You guessed it, that is going to be the ETool. And I feel like this is going to be the most controversial pick. A lot of people are probably going to say that this should have been higher up on the list. This should have been number 1 because it really is probably the best weapon on this entire list for high rounding. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say it's going to be lower on the list. The ETool is one of the weapons that once you know, you know. Once you know how to properly use this weapon and fully utilize everything it has to offer, it's just super good for early rounds. It, in my opinion, is the single best weapon for early rounds. The first 20 rounds, the ETool is just the best weapon because it allows you to get the maximum amount of points when killing zombies. It allows you to run and set up the map quicker because you run quicker than the ETool than you do with any other weapon in the game. You actually run quicker with the ETool than what you do with your fist. That's how much faster you run with it. But the ETool does fall off. Once you get past round 20, the ETool falls off and kind of doesn't become the best weapon anymore. But it's got this weird effect. Once you get back to round 50 or 60, the ETool once again becomes the best weapon in the game. We like to call this the ETool curve, and that's why it's not number 1 because there is a period of time where it isn't the best. Between rounds 20 to like 50, it kind of drops off and is no longer the best, but eventually it does curve back around. And just look at how crazy fast the ETool knifes. This thing is just absolutely insane. But yeah, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean on higher rounds. But the reason the ETool is so good on these lower rounds, because 1, you get the max amount of points per kill. It allows you to run quicker than what you do with any weapon. It knifes so much quicker than any other knife in the game. The ETool can knife 111 zombies per minute, whereas the default knife can only do 75 zombies per minute. No other melee weapon in the game even comes close. The second closest is the katana, which I think can do a total of like 87 zombies per minute. This does 111. And on top of that, it has the most range out of any other melee weapon. It's the most accurate out of any other melee weapon, and it does the same damage as any other melee weapon. Legitimately, every single melee stat has just been stacked onto the ETool. Everything the ETool does, it does better than every other melee weapon in the entire game. Not quite sure why, But yeah, they just completely stacked up the ETool. Maybe the mace can outthrone it. We'll have to see when we get it later in the season. But right now, when it comes to melee weapons, the ETool is the absolute king. And now here we are on round 62 with the ETool. And this is what I mean. It kind of gets really good as you get to higher rounds. So currently, we're on the health cap. And most people at this point in time are using wonder weapons. Yes, you are able to take bullet weapons and take them all the way to round 100 if you want. But everyone knows the most efficient way to go to round 100 most of the time is using a wonder weapon. And any other weapon you spawn in with is pretty much going to become useless once you start using wonder weapons. Melee weapons are different. So you can see here we've got it fully maxed out. We have Shatter Blast on that. While using our weapon, if we knife at any point in time, we're going to activate that ammo mod, able to kill a lot of zombies there. And this works with any sort of ammo mod. If you want to run turned, whatever you want to run, you're able to put on the ETool and you're able to use it as you're running, and it's still a one hit. So if you're running with your wonder weapon, get trapped in a corner by one zombie, at any point in time, you can just knife once. You're going to kill that zombie, and you're able to take full effect of ammo mods. And ammo mods in this game are extremely strong. Unfortunately, you're not able to put them on wonder weapons, but using a melee in your background, you're able to imitate the same effect. All right, so here's another reason the ETool is so strong. We just went down. The ETool is so good for recoveries. Every time on high rounds when I go down, when I get back up, I pull out the ETool. Because like we were saying earlier, you run so much faster with the ETool. This allows you to train and quickly get everything you need to be able to recover once you're on high rounds. So if you're on round 60, whatever round you go down on, I recommend having the ETool in your back pocket. That way you're able to just pull out the ETool. And I mean, you're able to run so much quicker than the zombies, and it makes training so easy when you have no perks. So it is really good for that. All right, we'll buy some armor. As you can see, the zombies are way far behind us because of how quick we're running, even though we don't have stamina. We did lose stamina when we went down. Oh, and there's a Panzer. That makes things a little bit more interesting, but I think we'll be all right with this recovery. Come back up here. Now what we want to do is start buying all of our perks. And just like that, well, we didn't even have enough to buy all of our perks, but we were able to fully recover easily using the ETool. So it's really good for using while you're using wonder weapons. It's really good for recoveries, and it's really good for the first 20 rounds. That's why it's making the number 2 slot. And honestly, the ETool maybe should have been number 1, but I'll let you guys decide in the comments. Now for my ETool setup, I'm running the Parting Gift Blueprint that comes from the Maxis bundle. We're also running the Monkey Bomb Charm and the Monkey Bomb sticker to go on top. And now finally, for my number 1 pick at the current state of the game, it's going to have to be the Akimbo Damatis. I know at one point in time I said the amps were better, but holy crap, look at how good this variant looks with the final Pack-a-Punch camo. That is beautiful. But I feel like this, it is just ridiculous. The damage this puts out if you're hitting headshots is unmatched. These two weapons right here, or I guess one single weapon, if you count it like that, does the most DPS out of any weapon in the game, not including wonder weapons. Like, even more than the AMPs, this right here is the highest DPS weapon in the entire game. And you can see by how quickly we are demolishing entire enemies. Let's buy armor before I go down real quick, though. But you can see how quickly and how powerful... Well, that doesn't count. Shatter Blast went off. Hold on. But yeah, looking at this, look at how quickly enemies are dropping. This is round 67. These are max health cap zombies. The same thing I said about the amps apply to this. The M16 is going to be better unless you're hitting headshots. But if you're able to accurately hit hipfire headshots with this weapon... Dude, really no other weapon in this game really competes with it. It is just absolutely amazing. It is a little bit annoying to go to high rounds with this weapon, I will admit. Since it is not full auto like the AMPs, you've got to constantly be tapping your mouse buttons. And it does get a little tiresome and a little old if you're just going through high rounds constantly with these. But if you are looking for the absolute powerhouse of a weapon, I think this is just hands down the highest damaging weapon. Well, it is. It's the highest DPS-wise in the game. But above that, I just think that for high rounds, if you're just looking for something that's going to drop enemies the quickest, I mean, this is it. Nothing really compares to these right now, and they're absolutely insane. We have made a couple of videos on this. Now, the class setup I was running for the Damatis, we had the Flashguard 9, for the barrel running the Task Force barrel. The body was the Ember sighting point, the magazine was the bottom one, and for the stock, we were running dual wield. But yeah, guys, that right there is my top 5 list for the current state and the current meta. Even though I put the Damatis at the number 1 slot, me personally, we all know the ETool is what I'm going to be using out of all these. The utility you get with the ETool, especially for high rounds, and while you're using wonder weapons, is just too good to beat. It's actually my 3rd most used weapon right now. I think the Die Shockwave is number 1, then the ray gun, and then the ETool is my number third weapon, boys. So definitely let me know in the comments below how you feel about this list and give me your personal top 5. If you disagree with me, let me know what order you would order weapons. Would you put the ETool at number 1? Would it not even make the list? Would the M16 be your number 1 on the list? Let me know everything you feel about this list and exactly how you would have ranked it. Keep in mind, I am going to be doing my best weapon from each class video very soon, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I want to take the last moment here to give a thanks to everyone who's became a Twitch sub, our YouTube member, and an extra special thanks to those who have taken above and beyond. We've got Chef, aka Chief, aka Classified. We've got the man whose name should be really easy to pronounce, Yamaster. We've got my friend with the most stable PS5 ever, DX2069. We've got the Big Mac Bandit himself, Brian Plays. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, Cryptic, and then we have the absolute boss, Hunter Redondo. All these people have taken a step above and beyond and became Unlock++ members on YouTube. Thank you so much, true homies.